Have you ever felt mentally exhausted, stuck in fog, or overwhelmed even after a full day? What if I told you that tiny habits you do every day, without even realizing it, are quietly damaging your brain? Watch till the end, because I'll reveal 8 daily habits that could be stealing your mental energy, and how to fix them. And tell me in the comments, do you think any of these habits are secretly affecting your brain? Chapter 1. Poor Sleep, the Silent Brain Killer. Welcome back. Let's start with something most of us do every day, but almost never think about how it affects our brain sleep. Sleep is not just rest. It's the single most important thing your brain needs to repair, recharge, and grow. Think about it. Have you ever woken up after a long night in bed, but still felt exhausted, foggy, or unmotivated? That is your brain screaming for proper sleep. Lounce. And here's the secret. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired, it quietly sabotages your mental health, creativity, focus, and decision making without you even realizing it. When you don't sleep well, your brain doesn't get the chance to enter the deep, restorative stages it needs. These are the stages where memories are stored, problems are solved, and emotions are balanced. Imagine trying to save a document on your computer, but the system never finishes saving it. This is exactly what happens to your brain when sleep is disrupted. Students who pull all-nighters often fail to remember what they studied, not because they didn't learn, but because their brain didn't store it. Adults, too, experience the same mental drain. Tasks feel harder, creativity feels blocked, and even simple decisions seem exhausting. Lack of sleep also triggers stress hormones like cortisol, which inflame neural tissues in your brain. This chronic inflammation slows down thinking, reduces impulse control, and even increases the risk of long-term neurological problems. Over time, your brain becomes more sensitive to stress. Small problems feel massive. Emotional reactions get exaggerated.
To fill Emma Pam Award, this line notice that you're easily frustrated,
Impatient, or anxious, and you may blame personality or circumstances, but the real culprit is poor sleep. Another silent effect is on your nervous system. When your sleep is disrupted, your sympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for fight or flight, becomes hyperactive. Your brain is on alert all the time, even when there is no danger. This constant state of vigilance drains mental energy and makes it hard to relax, enjoy the day, or think clearly. Your attention span drops, your reaction time slow, and your ability to make good decisions plummets. Have you ever noticed yourself snapping at someone over something small, or making mistakes you usually wouldn't? That's your sleep-deprived brain acting out. Even your social intelligence suffers. When you're sleep-deprived, it's harder to read facial expressions, understand emotions, or respond with empathy. You may misinterpret situations, overreact, or create unnecessary conflict without realizing it. And yet, the brain responds quickly when sleep improves. That means small changes in your sleep routine can have huge effects on your mental clarity, mood, and cognitive performance. So what can you do? First, create a consistent sleep routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Second, avoid screens at least an hour before bed. Blue light from phones and laptops tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime, making it harder to fall asleep. Third, respect your body's natural rhythm. Our brains thrive on patterns. When you honor that rhythm, your memory improves, creativity flows, and your emotional balance strengthens. Imagine waking up each morning feeling alert, focused, and motivated, ready to tackle any challenge. That's what proper sleep can do. It's not a luxury, it's a biological necessity. By protecting your sleep, you're protecting your brain, your mental energy, and your ability to live a full productive life. Even small changes, like sleeping 30 minutes earlier, turning off notifications, or practicing a bedtime ritual, can transform your mental performance in days. Remember, this chapter is just the beginning. Poor sleep is one of the most common ways we damage our brains quietly, without knowing. If you've ever felt mentally exhausted, forgetful, or emotionally unstable, sleep is probably the first habit you need to fix. Take it seriously. Your brain will thank you. And here's the first action step. Tonight, try going to bed 30 minutes earlier than usual. Notice how your mind feels tomorrow. Chapter 2. Consuming too much negative news. Draining your brain. Now that we understand how poor sleep silently sabotages your brain, let's talk about another invisible enemy. The endless stream of negative news. You might think staying updated is smart, necessary even. But what if I told you it's quietly exhausting your brain, killing your motivation, and stealing your emotional energy? Think about it. How many times have you scrolled through social media or news websites and felt stressed, anxious, or even hopeless afterward? That's your brain being hijacked without your permission. Our brains were never designed to process constant negativity. Every news story about disasters, conflicts, or scandals triggers the amygdala, the fear center of your brain. It releases stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline. In small bursts, these hormones help us survive threats. But when activated continuously, they start to damage your emotional and cognitive systems. Over time, repeated exposure to negative content increases anxiety, irritability, and even depressive feelings. Suddenly, the world feels scarier than it really is, and your own problems seem overwhelming. This is what psychologists call mean world syndrome. Even if your life is safe and stable, your brain starts expecting danger, betrayal, or loss at every turn. You stay in a constant state of alertness, mentally drained, emotionally tense, and physically fatigued. Negative news even narrows your focus. Fear and stress hijack your attention, making it harder to think creatively or solve problems. Instead of planning, innovating, or making wise decisions, your brain goes into survival mode, reacting impulsively to every little stimulus. Another hidden effect is on your motivation. Constant negativity makes the brain pessimistic. You start to focus on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. Goals feel harder, ambition weakens, and even simple tasks seem daunting. Your relationships may suffer too. A stressed, anxious mind is more reactive, less patient, and less empathetic. Arguments become more frequent, and meaningful connections feel strained. All of this happens silently, without you realizing that your own news consumption is fueling it. The physical impact is real as well. Chronic stress from negative news increases inflammation in the brain, slows cognitive processing, and weakens emotional resilience. You may notice headaches, muscle tension, sleep problems, or digestive issues, all caused by an overloaded mind. And worst of all, even after you turn off your devices, your brain keeps replaying the disturbing images and stories. You carry the weight of global suffering, even though your own life may be peaceful. So, how can you protect your brain? Start with small, deliberate steps. Limit news consumption to a set time each day instead of checking constantly. Choose trusted sources over sensational headlines. Balance your feed with positive or neutral content that inspires, educates, or motivates. Practice digital detoxes to give your brain a break. By doing this, you're not ignoring the world, you're protecting your mental clarity, energy, and focus. Here's a practical tip. For 1 week, try observing how you feel after consuming news. Are you more anxious, tired, or unfocused? If yes, reduce exposure gradually. your brain will slowly regain its natural balance, and you'll start noticing improved focus, better mood, and higher motivation. Remember, your attention is precious. Every time you scroll mindlessly through negativity, you give your brain stress it doesn't need and energy it can't afford to lose. Imagine a brain free from constant fear, capable of focusing on meaningful work, enjoying life, and solving problems creatively. That's the power of controlling what news you consume. By protecting your mind from nonstop negativity, you reclaim emotional energy, mental clarity, and the ability to think clearly and make smarter decisions. Negative news may feel unavoidable, but you have more control than you think. Small changes in consumption habits can dramatically improve mental health, creativity, and resilience. Start today and notice the mental weight lifting, the motivation returning, and the mind's natural balance restored. Chapter 3: Chronic Multitasking. Killing your focus. So far, we've uncovered how poor sleep and constant negative news can silently drain your brain. But now, let's talk about something many of us are guilty of every single day: multitasking. You might think juggling multiple tasks at once makes you productive, smart, or efficient. But here's the harsh truth: your brain was never designed to do two demanding things at once. Every time you switch from one task to another, your focus is fractured, your brain energy is drained, and your mental clarity takes a hit. Let's start with the science. When you multitask, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision making, planning, and problem solving, gets overloaded. Switching between tasks forces your brain to repeatedly refocus, which slows down cognitive processing. Studies show that people who multitask frequently have lower memory retention, slower reaction times, and more difficulty concentrating compared to those who focus on one task at a time. This isn't just a small inconvenience, it quietly erodes your ability to think clearly and creatively. Think about your daily life. Checking emails while attending a meeting, scrolling social media during work, or texting while watching TV may feel normal, but each moment of divided attention creates micro distractions that accumulate into serious cognitive fatigue. Over time, your brain becomes conditioned to shallow thinking. It struggles to dive deep, solve complex problems, or retain information. You may notice yourself forgetting details, making careless mistakes, or feeling mentally foggy by the end of the day. Chronic multitasking doesn't just affect work or studies, it infiltrates your personal life as well. Conversations lose depth, relationships feel shallow, and emotional intelligence takes a hit. When your attention is constantly split, you can't fully engage with the people around you. You miss subtle cues, fail to understand emotions, and sometimes even misinterpret intentions. Over time, this weakens your social intelligence and connection with others. Another hidden effect is stress. Constantly switching between tasks increases cortisol, the stress hormone. Your brain interprets multitasking as a threat, triggering a low-level fight or flight response. The result? Mental exhaustion, irritability, and even difficulty sleeping, ironically compounding the brain damage from poor sleep we discussed in Chapter 1. Your body and mind are in a constant state of subtle tension, and you don't even realize it. So how can you protect your brain? Start by embracing single tasking. Focus entirely on one task at a time, and set clear time blocks for different activities. Turn off notifications, silence your phone, and create an environment free from distractions. The first few days might feel uncomfortable, like you're doing less, but in reality, your brain is working smarter, not harder. You'll notice tasks getting done faster, with higher quality, and with much less mental strain. Another technique is the Pomodoro method. Work for 25 minutes with full focus. Then take a 5-minute break. This trains your brain to concentrate deeply while avoiding fatigue. Over time, your ability to focus and retain information improves dramatically. Creativity returns because your brain finally has uninterrupted periods to form new connections and solve problems. Multitasking also affects learning. When you split attention between multiple things, your memory doesn't consolidate information effectively. Students who study while checking messages or watching videos struggle to retain knowledge. Professionals who switch tasks constantly make more mistakes and struggle with decision-making. Your brain can handle a lot, but not at the same time. Focus is the key. Imagine your day when you finally stop multitasking. You feel mentally lighter, more creative, and more in control. You complete tasks efficiently, retain knowledge better, and engage fully with people around you. Your stress levels drop, and your mind starts to function the way it was meant to: clear, focused, and energized. Multitasking might seem like a badge of honor in today's fast-paced world, but it quietly drains your most valuable resource, your brain power. By embracing single tasking, limiting distractions, and giving your mind the space to focus, you protect your mental energy, boost productivity, and reclaim emotional balance. Chapter 4: Skipping breakfast or poor nutrition, starving your brain. Now that we've tackled multitasking and how it drains your focus, it's time to talk about something most of us underestimate every single day: what we eat, or sometimes don't eat. Your brain is like a high-performance engine. It needs fuel to run efficiently, think clearly, and make decisions. And yet, many of us start our day starving it or feeding it junk. If you skip breakfast or rely on processed foods, you are quietly sabotaging your brain without even realizing it. Let's start with the basics. Your brain is about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes roughly 20% of your daily energy. That energy comes from glucose, which you get from the foods you eat. When you skip breakfast or eat sugary processed meals, your brain doesn't get a steady supply of fuel. The result? Mental fog, poor concentration, low mood, and a drop in problem-solving abilities. You may notice yourself forgetting things, struggling to make decisions, or feeling mentally sluggish by mid-morning. The problem isn't just skipping meals, it's also about eating the wrong foods. Highly processed snacks, refined sugar, and fast food may give you a temporary spike of energy, but it's short-lived. Soon after, your blood sugar crashes, leaving your brain even more fatigued than before. Over time, this cycle weakens your memory, slows cognitive processing, and even increases your risk of depression. On the other hand, nutrient-rich foods like eggs, oats, fruits, nuts, and vegetables provide a slow, steady release of glucose and essential vitamins, keeping your brain alert and balanced. Another silent effect of poor nutrition is inflammation. Diets high in sugar, trans fats, and refined carbohydrates trigger inflammation in the brain. Chronic inflammation interferes with communication between brain cells, slows learning, and weakens memory. You may notice small signs: difficulty remembering names, forgetting appointments, or feeling mentally stuck. Many people mistake this for aging or stress, but often it's just poor fuel for the brain. Skipping breakfast also impacts your mood. Low blood sugar increases cortisol and other stress hormones, making you more irritable, anxious, or emotionally reactive. Your emotional control weakens and minor annoyances feel magnified. It's no coincidence that people who eat breakfast regularly report feeling calmer, more focused, and more productive throughout the day. Your diet directly influences your mental and emotional state. Your brain responds to what you feed it. The good news? This is one of the easiest brain habits to fix. Start by giving your brain a consistent source of morning fuel. Include complex carbs, lean proteins, and healthy fats to stabilize energy and support neurotransmitter function. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds, strengthen neural connections and boost memory. Fruits and vegetables supply antioxidants that protect your brain from oxidative stress. Small changes can create massive improvements in focus, mood, and productivity. Hydration is another often overlooked factor. Your brain is about 75% water. Even mild dehydration can reduce attention, slow thinking, and affect short-term memory. Drinking water first thing in the morning and throughout the day ensures your brain stays sharp. Pair this with nutrient-rich foods, and you create an environment where your brain can thrive. Imagine a day when your brain is fully fueled. You wake up, eat a nutritious breakfast, feel mentally alert, and tackle tasks with clarity. You remember details, make decisions quickly, and handle challenges calmly. Your energy remains stable, your mood stays positive, and your productivity skyrockets, all because you gave your brain what it truly needs. Skipping breakfast or poor nutrition may seem harmless, but over time, it quietly erodes your cognitive abilities, emotional balance, and overall mental resilience. By prioritizing the right foods and proper hydration, you protect your brain, enhance memory, and unlock your potential for peak performance. Chapter 5. Sitting all day. How a sedentary lifestyle shrinks your brain. So far, we've talked about multitasking, negative self-talk, poor sleep, and skipping breakfast. Now it's time to uncover another silent brain destroyer that most people ignore: sitting too much. You might be thinking, I sit at my desk all day, but what's the big deal? The truth is, prolonged sitting does far more damage than you realize. And it isn't just about your waistline. Your brain, your mood, your focus, and even your memory are all at risk. Let's start with how sitting affects your brain. Physically, when you remain sedentary for long periods, blood flow to the brain decreases. Blood carries oxygen and essential nutrients that the brain needs to function. Less blood flow means slower thinking, reduced memory, and weaker concentration. It's like trying to drive a car with half the fuel supply. Your brain just can't operate at full speed. Over time, this can shrink certain regions of the brain, especially the hippocampus, which is critical for learning and memory. Sitting also weakens neural connections. Your brain relies on movement to stay agile. Studies show that regular physical activity increases neurogenesis, the creation of new brain cells, and strengthens synapses, which are the connections between neurons. When you sit too long, your brain loses this stimulus, and your cognitive flexibility, the ability to think creatively, solve problems, and adapt to new situations, declines. You may notice it as mental sluggishness, difficulty making decisions, or feeling stuck in repetitive thought patterns. Here's another hidden danger. Sitting triggers stress and inflammation. Long periods of inactivity increase cortisol, the stress hormone, which can make you more anxious or irritable. It also promotes inflammation in neural tissues, reducing your brain's resilience to stress. This combination affects your emotional regulation, making small problems feel bigger and harder to manage. In short, your sedentary lifestyle quietly rewires your brain for stress, anxiety, and mental fatigue. The impact isn't just cognitive. It affects your mood and motivation too. People who sit for hours daily report higher rates of depression, low energy, and lack of motivation. It's not just psychological, it's biological. Your body and brain evolved for movement. Without it, neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, key chemicals for happiness and motivation, decline, leaving you mentally flat and unproductive. So what's the solution? Movement is medicine for your brain. Even small changes make a huge difference. Stand up every hour, stretch, or take a 5-minute walk. Activities like brisk walking, swimming, yoga, or dancing increase blood flow, improve mood, and strengthen neural pathways. Exercise releases brain-derived neurotrophic factor BDNF, which acts like a fertilizer for your neurons, promoting growth and improving memory. Imagine your brain as a garden. Exercise is the water and sunlight that keeps it thriving. Without it, your mental garden wilts. Another tip: incorporate movement into your daily routines. Take the stairs instead of the elevator, walk while taking phone calls, or schedule short exercise breaks between tasks. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they cumulatively boost blood flow, oxygen, and nutrient delivery to the brain, enhancing focus and energy. Over weeks and months, these habits protect your brain from shrinkage and cognitive decline. Finally, remember that movement isn't just physical, it's mental too. Engaging in activities that challenge your brain while moving, like learning a new sport, dancing, or playing active games, amplifies neurogenesis and cognitive growth. It's a double win. You strengthen your body while expanding your mental capacity. Imagine a day where you're not chained to your chair. You stretch, move, and your brain feels alive. Thoughts flow faster, your memory sharpens, and creativity sparks effortlessly. Tasks that once felt tedious now feel manageable. Energy, focus, and motivation become your default state, all because you refuse to let sitting quietly shrink your brain. Sitting all day may seem harmless, but it's silently eroding your cognitive potential, emotional balance, and overall brain health. By integrating consistent movement, you boost memory, clarity, focus, and resilience. Your brain and your life will thank you. Chapter 6: Excessive Screen Time: How Devices Are Rewiring Your Brain. By now, you've learned how multitasking, negative self-talk, poor sleep, skipping breakfast, and sitting too much quietly damage your brain. But there's one more modern habit, silently rewiring your mind every day: excessive screen time. You might be thinking, I need my phone, my laptop, my TV. It's part of life. And yes, technology is helpful, but here's the problem. Overuse changes the way your brain thinks, feels, and reacts. Let's start with attention. Every time you scroll endlessly on social media, binge watch shows, or switch between apps, your brain gets trapped in a loop of rapid, shallow attention. This constant stimulation conditions your brain to expect quick rewards, like likes, notifications, or new videos. As a result, your attention span shrinks. You may notice it in daily life. You start reading an article, but 5 minutes in, your mind drifts. Tasks take longer, focus weakens, and simple decisions feel harder. Here's another hidden danger. Excessive screen time overstimulates your reward system. Dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, spikes every time you get a notification or see something exciting online. Dopamine is great in moderation, but too much rewires your brain to crave constant novelty. Simple, offline tasks like reading a book, studying, or even socializing in person suddenly feel boring. Your brain becomes dependent on digital stimulation, creating a subtle but powerful addiction to screens. Sleep is also affected. Late-night scrolling suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone, making it harder to fall asleep and reducing deep restorative sleep. Poor sleep, as we discussed in Chapter 3, impacts memory, creativity, and emotional stability. So, screen overuse isn't just a distraction. It actively damages your brain's ability to restore itself each night. Mental health suffers too. Studies show a strong link between excessive screen use and anxiety, depression, and irritability. Constant exposure to digital content, especially negative news or social media comparisons, trains your brain to focus on threats, failures, and what you lack rather than opportunities and growth. Over time, this reshapes your mindset into one of worry, pessimism, or self-doubt. But it's not all doom and gloom. The brain is incredibly adaptable, and with conscious habits, you can reclaim control. Start by setting boundaries. Schedule screen-free times during the day, especially before bed. Use apps or features that limit scrolling or track your screen time to make you more aware. Even small breaks, like looking away from the screen every 20 minutes, can reduce strain, improve focus, and protect your mental energy. Next, replace passive screen use with active brain engagement. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, spend time reading, learning a skill, solving puzzles, or practicing mindfulness. These activities stimulate your brain without overloading it, creating new neural connections while boosting memory, attention, and creativity. Movement and social interaction amplify recovery. Combine exercise with reduced screen time and notice your energy and focus improve. Engage in face-to-face conversations to strengthen emotional intelligence and empathy skills that screens can't teach. These simple adjustments create a brain-friendly balance in a world dominated by digital distractions. Finally, remember this: you are training your brain every time you pick up your phone. Each notification, video, or scroll either strengthens shallow, distracted thinking or builds deeper focus, creativity, and resilience. By controlling screen time, you're not just protecting your attention and sleep, you're actively rewiring your brain for mental clarity, emotional stability, and peak performance. Imagine life with screens under your control. You focus on what matters, absorb knowledge faster, sleep better, feel calmer, and reclaim hours of wasted time. Your brain becomes sharper, more creative, and ready to solve problems with clarity, all because you refuse to let screens quietly hijack your mind. Excessive screen time is more than a habit, it's a silent brain saboteur. But with awareness, boundaries, and deliberate actions, you can protect your brain, restore focus, and regain control over your attention and life. Chapter 7: Chronic Stress: How Everyday Pressure Shrinks Your Brain. So far, we've uncovered 6 daily habits quietly sabotaging your brain: multitasking, negative self-talk, poor sleep, skipping breakfast, sitting too much, and excessive screen time. But there's another invisible enemy affecting millions of people every day: chronic stress. You may think stress is just part of life. I have deadlines, responsibilities, family obligations. It's normal. And you're right, a little stress can motivate you. But chronic, constant stress quietly damages your brain in ways you might not notice until it's too late. Let's start with the basics. Stress triggers a chemical called cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. Short bursts of cortisol can be helpful. They sharpen focus, increase alertness, and prepare you to respond to challenges. But when stress becomes constant, cortisol remains elevated. Over time, this damages key brain areas like the hippocampus, which is essential for memory, learning, and emotional regulation. Simply put, chronic stress can make you forgetful, reduce your ability to learn new skills, and make your emotions harder to control. You've probably noticed how small problems feel bigger under stress. That's your brain's amygdala, the emotional center, going into overdrive. Chronic stress makes the amygdala more sensitive and reactive. Suddenly, tiny setbacks feel catastrophic, criticism feels unbearable, and conflicts become harder to navigate. Your brain is literally wired to overreact, draining your mental energy day after day. Stress also impacts decision making. When cortisol levels are high, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, planning, and self control, works less efficiently. This means you're more likely to make impulsive decisions, procrastinate, or avoid important tasks. You might even notice yourself snapping at people you love or struggling to focus at work. These aren't character flaws, they're biological effects of chronic stress on your brain. Physical health isn't spared either. Chronic stress inflames the body, weakens the immune system, and increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even neurological disorders. You might experience headaches, muscle tension, digestive issues, or disrupted sleep, all of which feed back into more stress. It becomes a vicious cycle where stress damages your brain and body simultaneously. But here's the powerful truth. The brain is incredibly adaptable. You can rewire it, reduce cortisol, and regain control even if you've been stressed for years. Simple habits make a huge difference. Mindfulness practices like meditation, deep breathing, or journaling calm the amygdala and strengthen the prefrontal cortex. Exercise releases endorphins, counteracts cortisol, and boosts memory and creativity. Even short walks in nature, away from screens and noise, can lower stress instantly. Another underrated strategy is structured problem solving. Chronic stress often arises from feeling overwhelmed. By breaking problems into small, manageable steps, you regain a sense of control. Your brain no longer perceives every challenge as a threat, and your stress response gradually normalizes. Sleep also plays a crucial role. As we discussed earlier, poor sleep amplifies stress. By improving sleep quality, maintaining consistent routines, reducing screen time, and optimizing your sleep environment, you strengthen your brain's resilience against stress. It's a domino effect. Better sleep, lower stress, improved focus, and enhanced emotional balance. Social connection is another brain-saving habit. Talking with supportive friends or family reduces cortisol levels, strengthens emotional resilience, and improves your sense of safety. Even brief daily interactions or small acts of kindness stimulate dopamine and oxytocin, chemicals that counteract the damaging effects of stress. But finally, mindset matters. Chronic stress is often fueled by feeling trapped or powerless. But when you reframe challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, your brain shifts from threat mode to growth mode. This reduces cortisol, enhances creativity, and allows you to handle pressure with calm clarity. Imagine your brain free from constant stress. You think clearly, remember more, solve problems efficiently, and navigate life's challenges with calm confidence. Chronic stress may be invisible, but its effects are real, and the best part is you can reverse them. By understanding stress, implementing simple daily habits, and reclaiming control over your mind and body, you protect your brain's potential and future.
Sure.
Chapter 8. Poor Nutrition: How Everyday Food Choices Affect Your Brain. So far, we've explored 7 habits quietly damaging your brain, from multitasking and negative self-talk to chronic stress. But there's one more silent culprit affecting millions every day: poor nutrition. You may not realize it, but what you eat has a direct impact on how your brain functions, how you feel emotionally, and even how well you learn and remember. Many people think, I'll just eat whatever is convenient, I'll deal with the consequences later. But the truth is, your brain doesn't wait, it reacts to every bite you take, every day. Let's start with the basics. Your brain is an energy-hungry organ, consuming about 20% of your body's calories, despite being only 2% of your body weight. It needs high-quality fuel to function at its best nutrients, like omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and protein. When your diet is filled with processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats, your brain's energy production slows down. This can lead to poor focus, memory lapses, irritability, and even depression. Sugar is one of the biggest brain saboteurs. Frequent spikes and crashes in blood sugar disrupt neurotransmitters, those brain chemicals responsible for mood, motivation, and clarity. That afternoon crash you experience after a sugary snack, that's your brain screaming for stable energy. Over time, high sugar intake contributes to chronic inflammation in the brain, which is linked to cognitive decline and slower thinking. But it's not just sugar. Highly processed foods lack the essential nutrients your brain needs. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fish, nuts, and seeds, are critical for neuron communication and brain plasticity. A deficiency can impair memory, learning, and emotional balance. Antioxidants from fruits and vegetables fight oxidative stress, which damages brain cells. When your diet is low in these nutrients, your brain becomes more vulnerable to aging, stress, and disease. Skipping meals or having irregular eating patterns also harms your brain. The brain thrives on consistent energy supply. When you go long periods without food, your blood sugar drops, and your brain's ability to focus, solve problems, and regulate emotions decreases. Many people mistake irritability or mental fatigue for laziness or lack of motivation, when in reality, their brain is just hungry. Hydration is another overlooked factor. Even mild dehydration can affect cognitive performance, memory, and mood. Your brain is mostly water, and low fluid levels reduce oxygen delivery, slow down chemical reactions, and make thinking more difficult. Drinking enough water or consuming hydrating foods like fruits and vegetables keeps your brain sharp and focused. Here's the positive news. Improving your diet produces almost immediate benefits. Consuming balanced meals with lean protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates stabilizes energy, improves memory, and boosts mood. Adding colorful vegetables and antioxidant-rich fruits protects your brain from stress and cognitive decline. Even simple changes, like swapping soda for water or chips for nuts, can make a noticeable difference in focus and energy within days. Mindful eating is another key strategy. Many people eat while distracted, scrolling through phones, watching TV, or working. This reduces the brain's ability to register fullness and satisfaction, leading to overeating and brain fog. By slowing down, savoring each bite, and choosing nutrient-dense foods, you fuel your brain efficiently and enhance digestion, mental clarity, and emotional balance. Supplements can help in specific cases, but they're not a replacement for real food. Fish oil, vitamin D, magnesium, and B vitamins support brain health, but the foundation must always be whole, balanced nutrition. Think of supplements as helpers, not the main source of fuel. Lastly, remember that diet affects your emotions as much as your cognition. Poor nutrition increases irritability, anxiety, and depressive tendencies. Conversely, a nutrient-rich diet improves resilience, patience, and overall well-being. When your brain is well-fed, it can handle stress better, think clearly, make better decisions, and even strengthen relationship. Imagine your brain fully nourished, your focus sharpens, creativity flows, memory improves, and your mood stabilizes. Eating for your brain is not just about avoiding diseases, it's about unlocking your full potential and feeling vibrant every day. Small daily choices accumulate over time. Every healthy meal, every hydrating drink, Every mindful bite is an investment in your brain's future. By understanding how poor nutrition silently damages your brain and making simple adjustments, you protect your mental clarity, emotional stability, and long-term cognitive health. Food is not just fuel, it's brain care, energy, and power for your mind and your life. Chapter 9: Sedentary Lifestyle: How Lack of Movement Slowly Dulls Your Brain. You've made it this far, and now we reach one of the most overlooked yet powerful habits that quietly damage your brain: a sedentary lifestyle. Most people think exercise is only for the body, for weight or fitness. But the truth is, your brain thrives on movement just as much as your muscles. Sitting for long hours, scrolling endlessly on your phone, or barely moving during the day slowly drains your mental energy, reduces focus, and even shrinks certain areas of your brain over time. Let's understand why this happens. Your brain relies on blood flow to get oxygen and nutrients. Physical movement increases circulation, pumping oxygen-rich blood to the brain, improving memory, concentration, and problem-solving abilities. When you stay seated for hours, your brain receives less blood, which slows cognitive processing and makes thinking harder. That afternoon slump you feel? It's often your brain begging for movement. Exercise also triggers the release of neurotrophic factors, proteins that stimulate the growth of new neurons and strengthen existing ones. This is called neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to adapt, learn, and recover. People who are sedentary miss out on this natural boost. Over time, the lack of physical activity can contribute to forgetfulness, mental fatigue, and even mood disorders like anxiety and depression. But it's not just formal exercise that counts. Small daily movements, walking, stretching, standing up every hour, or taking the stairs significantly enhance brain function. Even a short 10-minute walk can improve attention, creativity, and emotional stability. Your brain responds to these bursts of movement almost immediately, giving you sharper focus and more energy. Another hidden impact of a sedentary lifestyle is its effect on sleep. People who sit all day often struggle with poor sleep quality. Regular movement helps regulate circadian rhythms, allowing your brain to enter deeper restorative stages of sleep. When you sleep better, your brain consolidates memory, repairs neural tissues, and clears out toxins, keeping it healthy and efficient. Movement also helps reduce stress and regulate mood. Exercise decreases cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases serotonin and dopamine, chemicals that make you feel good. Without this outlet, stress accumulates, and your brain stays in a heightened state of alertness, just like we discussed in previous chapters about sleep and negative news. Chronic stress can shrink the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for learning and memory. Regular movement protects this critical area, keeping your brain flexible and resilient. Sedentary behavior also contributes to inflammation, the silent enemy of your brain. Inactivity increases inflammatory markers in the body and brain, which can slow thinking, reduce mental clarity, and increase the risk of cognitive decline. Combined with poor nutrition, lack of sleep, and stress, a sedentary lifestyle compounds damage over time, often without people realizing it. The good news is that it's never too late to reverse these effects. Incorporating movement into your daily routine restores blood flow, stimulates neuroplasticity, improves mood, and strengthens memory. Even starting slowly, like walking after meals, doing light stretching in the morning, or short exercise breaks, can create a cascade of positive effects for your brain. Think of your brain as a muscle that needs regular workouts. Just as your body grows stronger with exercise, your brain flourishes when it moves. Movement and mental health are deeply interconnected each step. stretch, or jump you take feeds your neurons, clears toxins, reduces stress, and sparks creativity. Imagine ending your day not with mental fatigue, but with mental clarity, energy, and focus. Imagine making decisions more effectively, feeling motivated, and experiencing emotional stability simply because you chose to move your body. Small daily choices accumulate into remarkable results over time. By recognizing a sedentary lifestyle as a silent brain-damaging habit and committing to movement, you protect your cognitive abilities, emotional resilience, and overall brain health. Movement is not optional. It's essential for a sharp, creative, and vibrant mind. So, here's your challenge. Start today. Stand up every hour, take short walks, stretch, dance, or do whatever you enjoy that gets your body moving. Your brain will thank you, and over time, you'll notice sharper focus, better memory, improved mood, and an unstoppable mental energy. Final takeaway: your brain is your most valuable asset. Poor sleep, negative news, stress, bad nutrition, and a sedentary lifestyle quietly damage it every day. Well, what small, conscious changes, moving more, eating better, sleeping well, limiting negativity, can restore its power, potential, and clarity. If you found this video helpful, I want to hear from you. Comment below. Which of these habits do you think is quietly affecting your brain right now? Hit the like button. If you learned something new, share this video with someone who needs it. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that strengthens your mind, body, and life. Your brain deserves it, and so do you.